Las Vegas, this is NAB Show Live, produced by Broadcast Beat. Here's your host, Ryan Salazar.
Ryan Salazar here at the 2016 NAB Show. Are you guys having a great time or what? I know it's the I know it's the last day of the show, but it's always exciting for me to be at the show, and this is our last hour, so we're going to make it really awesome. Right now, we're going to talk about digital workflows, and then in the last half of the hour, we're going to talk about fun things, fun toys we saw at the show. So we've got some special guests, Jason Thibault, right? Oh, I'm sorry. Jesse Carosi.
That's right.
All right, you're from Bling Digital, correct?
That's right.
Talk about what you do.
So I am the director of workflow at Bling, and I oversee the dailies department company-wide, whether that be in whatever city or country we work in, and then also oversee any of the additional services we provide, like VFX pulls, promo pulls, conform, consolidation, and really focus on integrating the bigger picture of an end-to-end solution.
Okay, excellent. And then we've got Jason Thibault.
Yes.
Correct now. All right. Talk about Limelight Networks.
So Limelight Networks is a content delivery network, and what we do is we help organizations of all sizes deliver any kind of digital content around the world to multi-device. So we generally, in the film and video space, handle post-production. When it's all been finished off and everybody's done with all their editing and whatnot, they hand the files to us and we deliver it through our really big network.
Excellent. All right, the amazing Reed Burns. Step on up. Talk about Cognition Post.
Well, Cognition is an interesting company.
Your microphone's a little low, guys. There we go.
Better? Cognition evolved last year. So
Okay.
we're relatively a new company with some seasoned and interesting talent. We've partnered very much with our SGO Mystica partners for those particular workflows that we're going to be talking about. So we're feature film finishing. We are very heavily into photogrammetry and VR.
Excellent.
Yeah.
So, digital workflows. We're not talking about just like post-production workflows, digital workflows. You know, it's interesting how the industry, I guess the digital industry, the digital revolution has changed everything. It has changed it for post-production. It has changed it for advertising agencies. There are literally digital divisions now of these agencies, which kind of handle a lot of everything, really. Mm-hmm. Could you talk about that, Reed?
Well, I think, speaking of the commercial side, we're not working too much in that area now, but you're absolutely correct. That's evolved much differently. Many people are doing things in-house as far as the agencies go. For our side, we work really closely with the filmmakers. We try and get in at the beginning of the project so we can plan for visual effects, certainly cameras, color space, workflow in all areas. And our goal is to now be working in the ACES workflow so that we're able to deliver very easily to you guys with the proper linear master that is also future-proofing you for HDR as well.
Okay, and excuse my cough, it's the dry weather.
I've got it too.
Jesse, so the digital workflows have changed so much, or have evolved the post-production process so much. Mm-hmm. Can you chat about how it's changed what you guys do?
I think it's made us have to understand the entire process. I think that me being in a dailies lab, it was very easy for me, for other companies before, to think about whatever comes in, we'll just deal with it and then we'll push it out. We just know that if you give us this material, this is what we need to push out. But I think now that there's so much integration with other departments, and now with everything being digital, other people are relying on metadata and things to carry through the work that each department does. We really have to have crew that understand the entire process, and just because they may be doing dailies, they need to understand that if you're using Mystica, you know, how can we actually make some of that information translate properly so that we don't all of a sudden add more time in their bay when they're trying to conform and it affects the budget.
I mean, you've got things like nowadays, you know, back in the day, I always say back in the day, it's my first Ryan's coin phrase, but you know, now you've got digital asset management. Back in the day, you had what you called tape logs, for example, and you have to manage all your tapes, and you get to charge $10 a month to store it for your client, right? That's all gone. But now you've got disk storage and digital assets to store. How are you guys managing your assets?
Well, it's interesting that you mentioned the tape thing, because now with the way that we handle the tape column, as an example in Avid, we're considering every individual file a tape. So now it doesn't matter if time codes overlap, and because every individual file is its own tape. And I think a lot of those, there's a lot of tools that you'll see around the NAB floor for digital asset management, but internally at Bling, and sim, we have our own databases that we manage every shot recorded and all the metadata that we try to script and bring in to that one central hub. But yeah, there's a lot of companies that are offering that solution here at
Cool.
NAB.
Now, so for after the process is done and you need to deliver content, I'm sure Limelight, you guys are a CDN, you're a content delivery network.
Correct.
We're using that of sorts right now.
Sure.
I mean, we're literally delivering to hundreds of thousands of people on nabshow.com and broadcastbeat.com. Talk about your company a little bit more in depth.
Well, I mean, so what we've done is we've created a really large private network. And this network has points of presences around the globe. So, 40, 50 different POPs located in countries everywhere. What we try to do is we try to reduce the complexity involved in that post-production multi-device delivery process so that they can just give us a file or give us a stream and then kind of dust their hands of it and not worry about it, ensuring that what's coming out is broadcast quality.
What's cool about how content delivery networks work, at least in the sense that I was dealing with them, is that they have auto detection, so they sort of know what kind of device they're going to. They can throttle the throughput, the bandwidth going to that device based on the amount of throughput that it has available to itself. Is that kind of what you guys do?
Yeah, so the content delivery network could really just be a dumb set of pipes. But what we've done is we've built this intelligent layer of software at the edge. So when a request comes in for, let's say, an HLS asset, maybe it's an on-demand asset or a live stream, and that asset doesn't exist, we have processes in the network that allow us to automatically transcode or transmux that into the appropriate format that's being requested. So it's really a dynamic system with a lot of interplay between what the network's doing and what the client devices are requesting.
Okay. Reed, so how are you guys managing assets?
It's kind of interesting. We're a smaller company and we're focusing, we're sort of a creative campus that's evolving. And like I said, it's a combination between predominantly our feature film finishing, just like Jesse, we try and be involved at the very beginning so we can plan from the get-go right through delivery so that everyone is happy along the whole course of the pipeline. And our VR and our photogrammetry side. So we're trying to tie all of those together, and as we go forward, as I said, with our partnership with the Mystica guys, they're already leading in that area. So that's where we're perched to go. We're doing a lot of photogrammetry around the world. We have television shows that we're developing, so we're a little bit on the content creation side as well. And we're doing a total 4K ACES workflow for our feature film finishing side.
Okay, so like over the last year, have you guys seen workflow changes in the digital kind of workflow, you guys? What I mean is how it's, it's evolved a lot like over the last 10 years, but
Tremendous.
It seems to be happening within the last year. Has it been happening at a much faster rate? I see it personally at Broadcast Beat, for sure.
Yeah, I think that each of us will have seen very unique things in our own space for that.
Sure.
Within the last year, I've seen a lot of companies a lot of DITs start to, before a lot of people were taking a straight SDI feed from the camera into their DIT card, then maybe they were going through a Teradek transmitter and they were going out wirelessly to the monitors on set. But we're starting to get more and more people actually taking a wireless feed from the camera. So on one of our TV shows, Narcos, that we're doing, the camera is transmitting that signal wirelessly, and she's also, the DIT on that's also actually using an app, a full control app, where she's dialing in all the metadata remotely for the camera. So any settings that she wants to change, the white balance, the ISO, whatever the camera can plug in.
With a mobile device.
Yeah, and so it really
crazy.
adds a new complexity to what we need to QC, because during the process of saying, okay, what you're seeing on set is what we're going to see in the lab and what we're going to pass on to the Mystica, we need a process in place to compare that. And I think that with these changes, it's allowed a lot of new, really great tools on the front end. We just need to make sure that we add the appropriate QC to make sure that it still doesn't mess with the color down the chain.
Wow, and so, I've dealt more in the commercial realm, Reed, and I can't imagine how many assets you guys have, or the size of those assets that you guys have to deal with. If you've got a motion picture film, or even a television program, how much footage do you have for something like that?
It really varies. Depending on the project and the time constraints that they may have, we may actually say to them, you might want to consider not capturing raw as an example, maybe ProRes 444, so you don't have nearly as much data to manage downstream. And, it depends on budgets as well. Just like you were saying earlier, the clock's ticking, we want to work in a very efficient way. And so storage and, the volume of moving things around is very, very important. And we want to be able to, one of the reasons that we've gone with the ACES workflow as an example, and we've already proved that out, is we want to be able to deliver so that everything matches absolutely perfectly all the way down the line for all the deliverables that might be coming their way or for archiving, and as I said, future-proofing for things like HDR.
Okay, so, sorry, go
May
ahead.
I?
Yeah, go ahead.
I'd just be curious in terms of these file sizes that are coming in and managing that data, as you were talking about. Are you typically getting tapes and like LTO tapes and consolidating from that, and therefore what hits your SAN and what you have to manage is more what made the cut versus the entire negative being shipped to you on some type of hard drive?
It depends on the project, absolutely. If we're working on it from the get-go, then we can control all that ourselves. Otherwise, like you say, if we're getting something from the outside where we're getting all of their complete footage, then you've got obviously a lot more to manage.
Yeah, it gets a little crazy at that point, especially with, there was a lot of push for 4K over the last few years, but honestly, we get so many TV shows that still shoot ProRes.
Absolutely.
ProRes 1920 1080.
Oh yeah,
a lot of them.
Broadcast Beat is strictly.
Right.
I mean, we're not a television program,
but over the last year, we've seen so many. Now that the ARRI can actually record higher resolutions, it's actually started. So many more of our jobs are starting to record that way. And then on the feature side, which I guess is more of the clients that you deal with, it's getting crazy with. I remember last year, OpenGate was this big deal, and the first time we did an ARRI Raw OpenGate job, we were super afraid because of the file sizes. And now with ARRI 65 and the way that has to be managed, it doesn't seem like a big deal anymore, because ARRI 65 with 2.8 terabytes for every hour you record, it's crazy. And that literally means pretty much that because there's 2 terabyte codecs cards, every mag you record is pretty much an LTO backup.
Oh yeah, well if you're working off a nice size LTO, I use LTO 4, so it ain't happening on LTO.
No, we're on LTO 6 on one of our jobs right now, and we have to have 5 doublers, so 10 decks running 24 hours a day. It's insane, and that's just to keep up with. Even if you're only shooting 3 hours a day, it gets
well, think about
massive.
even just ingest itself. So you do your shoot, right? And you produce, or you create your media, and then, all right, now I have to get it in the suite and actually physically work on it. So then if you're organized, you're going to stick it on something, hopefully a storage type system, or if you're a single guy, doing it, but you have to get it out, you have to offload it. So what the heck do you put it to? All right, does it go to
I think
SAN
a lot of
system?
people can't keep it all online, though, when you get to that file size.
It starts becoming impossible.
With other file types, you could keep the entire negative online on maybe, a 200-300 terabyte SAN, but are you really going to get a couple petabyte SAN for a job, and is anyone actually going to pay for that?
And then when the job's done...
So what's happening on a lot of the jobs that I've been seeing that are shooting heavy like that is they'll keep a couple weeks online, and then they'll have a nearline storage that is maybe a G-Speed Studio XL or some type of portable drive that's a 64-ish terabyte drive, and that's what is used for the conform as well as the VFX pulls and promo pulls. But the LTO is just the archive at that point, because also pulling those kinds of file sizes all from LTO once you need to conform it's a lengthy process.
Wow.
It's time-consuming.
It's all right. So you create your media, you're working on it, so you have to manage it with asset management software and whatnot. You have metadata, and then you've got to back it up. If you're in the commercial world, obviously you can get that stuff offloaded a whole lot easier than you can. You've got little projects that are 100 megs or 100 gigs or something like that versus multiple terabytes. But what are you guys doing as far as offloading? Like, do you have an automated process?
We do, but what we're doing at the final of the project is we're making all the deliverables and trying to work with the clients to archive the way they want. We're also concerned about the future in digital asset management. I mean, right now, you were talking earlier about how there used to be so many different types of tapes and everything, and it's a confusing world now, really. I think we're still really very much in transition on all those things, and how to store all that stuff and manage, like you were saying, it's just giant volumes of footage.
Now it's just a question of how can you automate that process,
Yeah.
and
Right.
how can you speed that up. And you know, with the data sizes getting bigger, and if he was getting turned over a conform and okay, you're ready to conform and do your online or color, you want to be able to figure out solutions that you don't have to bring all of the media back onto some storage. You want to have efficient processes to automate it and consolidate what only made the cut. And hey, if you can trim it, and let's say it's an R3D, and you can make brand new R3Ds without the fat, so to speak.
Right. There's a cool company called Crossroads Systems, and they deal with like the Hubble Space Telescope or whatever, like where they actually literally back up stuff to tape. They have a nearline storage.
Yeah.
They have a tape storage, and they work in post environments by the way too. So you can actually set a rules-based system, and you can say, all right, after 180 days, if this is an MOV file, offload it, or if it's an MOV file and it's over, I don't know, 25 gigs, offload it. But keep the rest of the stuff. It's really cool.
Yeah.
But you still have to have a big pipe for it to automatically do that in the background, so you can still work at the same time too. So then, you know, your storage has got to be big enough to handle that, enough spinning disks or whatever. It's crazy.
Which that's certainly a big part of the challenge is internet at that point.
Oh, right.
Wherever
yeah,
that
then
media may be
you're
located.
thinking about the cloud at that point. Then it's just a whole new Wild West, right?
Well, and that's where we come in and play sometimes. Is
Oh,
we
yeah.
can help move those large files
Right.
around. So we have a distributed cloud storage that's built into the network. And I think we're boasting somewhere around 55 or 60 petabytes of storage available.
Wow.
And what we do is we afford companies the ability to move those big files around. We can automatically replicate them, so they're not sending, you know, large files out to different regions or whatnot. They just post it one time, and then our system automatically takes it and replicates it and puts it out everywhere that they need it. And so they're sharing those big files, those master files that they've been producing, and then they can encode them and convert them and put them back up into storage for delivery out to end users.
For the sharing of that, are you using your own proprietary tool, or are you using like an Aspera?
So we
product?
have a Aspera integrated with our cloud storage, so it really makes it easy just to get the files up into storage.
And are you folks archiving as well? Like, are you managing assets downstream in terms of spinning drives or migrating to new formats to protect things as we go forward? As we're not really recording out film anymore and people are you know,
Right.
putting color negatives away, you know, what are you guys finding in that area?
So we're not really involved in that part of the process.
Okay.
It's really, we're starting to look at, are there opportunities for us to play in digital daily distribution, for example?
Ah, okay.
Right? Can somebody use our cloud storage and our delivery mechanism? So they upload in Aspera, it stays in our cloud storage, our network distributes around the world where they need it distributed, and then they can pull it down via Aspera as well. So now it's just an easy, simpler way for them to distribute content around without having to use Amazon or some other process.
You know what's so cool too? Online transfers now. Companies like Aspera,
Right.
And I think File Catalyst does the same sort of
Yep.
thing. They have this multiple stream thing going on, and I haven't really studied it very well, but you know, I think it's, if you take one file, let's say it's 50 gigs, it's almost like it splits it up into multiple
It does, yeah.
things.
It splits it up into parallel and stitches them back together. We have lots of customers who are using us to deliver, 50 gig files to end users, like an Xbox is delivering a new game. So they'll use Aspera to upload that content into cloud storage and get it chopped up, and it just gets it up there much faster.
Wow.
Yeah, and then on the front end, we also have jobs where someone may be going to some remote location and they don't want to send a full crew, they don't want to send and build out a lab, so they'll say just find a co-location, a data center nearby, and just push the masters back and we'll do it where we've been doing the rest of the job.
Wow. I spoke to another gentleman, JMR Electronics. They have the JMR data mover. And so say you're working on a motion picture film, you've got a facility in New York, you've got a facility in Paris, and there are, say, and I didn't really realize this, but it makes complete sense, there are multiple versions of a movie. So you've got an English version, a Spanish version, whatever, and you've got, you need to make a revision to that film, but only just a portion of that film. And say it's, I don't know, a couple terabytes, or well, probably a lot larger than that, I'm sure. And you need to send the revision overseas to the location in Paris. Well, apparently, I guess maybe it's something like Aspera does this too, possibly, where it can actually send only the changed data, but then somehow update. I have no idea how that works,
Yeah.
but it's absolutely amazing. If you get what I'm saying. So there's
Yeah,
a
that's
terabyte
extraordinary.
movie.
Yes,
Yeah.
differential updates, yeah. That's
Exactly,
really cool.
exactly. It's
Is
just,
that like a sync function? I'm not familiar with what they're doing.
Well,
Is
it
that like a
compares
sync
the
function
data
where it
somehow.
compares
Yeah,
point A to point B and now update point B with what A has?
I assume, yeah. I'm
Yeah.
not familiar enough with Aspera to know if they do that or not.
but it's,
Aspera can do that.
Oh, Aspera does it?
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
yeah, okay, all right. But it's just such an interesting technology, and how the way things have worked. you know, in the past you would have to store so much more data, and now they have a way, even though you're still having to take up more space with the sizes and everything. But thank you so much for being with us, guys. It's really cool chatting with you. We'd love to have you in some more discussions. Of course, we cover lots of shows, and we cover, we do Skype interviews all the time. So again, I'd like to say thank you to Jesse Carosi. Let's give him applause. Jason Tebow from Limelight. And then Reed Burns at Cognition Post. Thank you so much, guys.
Hi, I'm Michael Kim of 120 Sports. You're watching NAB Show Live.
Live from Las Vegas, this is NAB Show Live, produced by Broadcast Beat. Here's your host, Ryan Salazar.
Ryan Salazar here at the 2016 NAB Show. I know you guys can hear me out there. I know you guys can hear me out there. This is the last day of the show. You guys got to be so excited about all the cool tech that you've seen. We've got all of our Broadcast Beat lieutenants up here. We've been seeing all sorts of cool stuff the last couple days. Jeff, what have you seen that just got you so excited?
My bed.
Yes, I haven't seen my bed.
No, I saw a lot of the NDI stuff with new tech. Fascinated me. I mean, that was like my highlight of the week. Other than that, I was working, so I dove into a little bit of stuff. But I wish I could have walked around a little bit more. But the NDI by New Tech was really cool to see.
Okay, and Janet, I know you've been all over the place. Talk about some.
Well, I've been doing 2 shows a day. Hey,
Exactly.
I've been working hard.
Exactly.
But I've had some fascinating guests. But when I went around the show to do some of the interviews, a couple of things struck me, and that was we're starting to see some different types of design of stands. And I particularly love the stands that are no longer just boxes, you know? So Edelkrone, to me, were fantastic, a company from Turkey. And they've also had a fantastic product for which they won an innovation award. So I thought that was great. But the thing that struck me with one of my guests, when we had live from the BBC yesterday with Wendy Wright, who is line producer of a show, was she was actually saying she saved £8,000 on coffee cups by giving her crew just their own bottle every time. £6,000 on using rechargeable batteries. So there is savings to be made. So I'm pushing the environment, the sustainability.
Awesome. Awesome. Jamie, go ahead and talk about the toys you saw.
One of my favorites has to be from Motorized Precision. They were in the red booth, and they had a camera operator called Kira, and it was all about beauty and simplicity and sexiness. And it was this camera that you could control with a remote and log into the system where you wanted it to go, and it kind of moved like a snake. It moved really quickly, and it moved to this, in all these different angles, and I thought it was amazing. It was so cool too that I think he put like 102 points into the system and was able to use the camera to laser write the name of the product, which was Kira. I thought that was awesome.
Cool.
Very cool.
All right. The amazing Larry.
So I had a lot of fun on a lot of different levels. One of the things that I enjoyed was so many booths around here had people with plastic face masks on, and they were all standing around going. It was like people having seizures everywhere. It was pretty crazy. So I saw a lot of that. But I actually got them to let me borrow this for a second. This is so cool. This is a Steady Pod. And I don't have time to demo the whole thing, but this is the most amazing, handheld. I mean, I can't wait to have fun with this.
I saw that yesterday. Excuse my coughing.
It's a hi-hat.
It's the weather.
It's got all kinds of different things.
Okay. I saw that yesterday. I was talking with Eddie Barber. I see him in the audience.
Yeah.
That is so dang cool, and it's so smooth. He did a shot. He was at the Oscars a couple weeks ago.
Exactly.
And he did this cool shot where he came up from the bottom of the statue.
Right.
And kept coming up, and it looked like it was animated. It was unbelievable how smooth the shot was.
Yeah, and I'm sure he's got that on his website at steadypod.com. I hope.
Oh yeah.
Because that's just you can't say enough about it. The great thing about this kind of show is I did not expect to see this. I didn't go looking for it. Saw somebody walking in the hall with it, and I was blown away. It stopped me in my tracks because I have a video monopod that I pretend to do steady pod stuff with and hold it like this, and I kind of fake it a little bit, but this is just, it's a brilliantly designed tool with a lot of different aspects to it. No, he's not paying me.
You got a shirt underneath there? You got to pull your shirt
No,
out?
you know what, my shirt is
Change
actually,
the shirt, folks.
I did, I changed my shirt. And wait, sorry about that. And
It's back to NAB.
All right. The amazing Nikki. Go ahead and talk about what you saw.
Well, Ryan, you know that I am obsessed with VR and probably like borderline unhealthy obsession. So,
Yes, we agree.
Walking through, and I've always been a big GoPro fan. I love GoPro. I have so many GoPros. This is the Omni. It houses 6 GoPros, and in the middle there's a board that synchronizes all 6 of them. So if you watch the video, it was incredible. It's seamless stitching. So this was my favorite.
Awesome. All right. So who at NAB, and there's a lot of you left, who likes free stuff? Okay. Well, that's pretty much everybody here. Okay. Who likes free stuff?
We get to look at it first, though, right?
So we're going to give stuff away. The first person that can make it up here is going to get this box.
I'm here.
And then the second person that's going to make it up here is going to get this box. We are literally just giving toys away like crazy. I'd like to say...
I got Ryan's phone. Phone?
Well, no, I don't know about that. The things that I saw at the show that I really liked, I'm a big storage guy, and I'm like asset management guy. I know you guys like the gadgets. I like the virtual stuff. So just so amazing how everything's evolved and how the HDR is still a big thing.
Oh, yeah.
But AR and VR is unbelievable. And then, Nikki, that was something that you were really into at the show this year. It was the hottest pavilion here, and it was just really exciting to see this stuff. There was one device, and hopefully I remember the name of it. It's I think it's called the Z4. It's this camera where they had about 60 to 80 of these cameras lined up. And they had me jump in the air. It was like in synchronization, like I had to do it at a specific time. They took a shot of me, and then when they processed the video, they played it back to me, and it was like this matrix-y kind of thing. So I jumped up, I was midair, took the shot, and then they hit play on this video like 2-3 minutes later, and it was me in the middle, and then just you see this shot like this. It was just like the Matrix.
Wow.
So
I thought it was really
cool. That was in
It
Central
makes
Hall.
perfect sense. Ryan Salazar is the one.
But you know what I thought was really good about AR and VR? There's so many emerging markets that aren't traditionally broadcast. So the applications in medicine and education are fantastic. So I think AR, VR is going to really be the next thing.
All right, so I've got some friends that I met just the other day. Hey, guys. We would love to see this. Come on up. So this and you watch, the crane's going to be shooting you. This thing is amazing. I'm in love with it.
Wow. That's intense.
Yeah, that's.
I mean, this thing is so cool. And
Wow.
Oh.
That's amazing.
is that
That's
cool
crazy.
or what?
Yeah.
I think that's probably my favorite toy that you can actually put on.
How do you get through TSA?
Hi.
Wow.
So I mean, they've got the camera, they've got they got the screen on there. You can, it's just amazing. Hey, come up here real quick, Adam. Yeah. And you don't have a handheld, but I'm just gonna just explain it real quick.
Yes, this is called the anti-gravity rig. It is made by Cinema Devices. It can take a camera from floor to overhead without the need for counterweight. So you can hike up a mountain with this thing.
Wow.
And you can get on an escalator with it. It shrinks down. You can go through doorways with it. And it's going to open up the whole door of where production values can be for all levels of production.
That is cool.
I know, yeah. Thank you so much. So that's Adam, founder of Cinema Devices.
Yes.
Man, you've been chasing us all over the last few days, and I had to give you the credit. But I got to say, every time, thank you so much, Adam. And every time, your website, yes.
Yes, we're www.cinemadevices.com. Look us up on the web, and we'll keep you posted. Just contact us, and we'd love to.
And it comes with an operator.
What's so, my mic just went up. There we go. What's so cool is every time I see you guys out on the floor, you're bringing crowds with you. They just follow you. It's like you've got an entourage or something.
We've been the hot chick of the floor.
All right, thank you so much, guys. I appreciate it. All right, so who else likes free stuff? All right, if you're into graphics and video editing, you're going to want this stuff. We've got New Blue Effects, some free software. really nice stuff. Come on up. Whoever can make it up here the fastest is going to get stuff.
Come on
and actually,
now.
And actually, I mean a lot of people because we've just got a lot of it. So if you want free software, we're giving free software away. Special thanks to New Blue Effects. So, okay. Oh my gosh, we got a heck of a crowd, guys. Wow. Oh my gosh. Hey, where are you from? Just curious.
Houston, Texas.
Houston, Texas. All right, where are you from, sir?
Virginia.
Virginia. There are people from all over the world here at NAB Show. Yeah, I'm not giving my laptop away, pal. That's all we have for right this moment, guys. Thank you so much for coming up. Sony launched a new camera just recently. I think it was the PVWX400. That thing is killer. We were shooting with it on the floor and just super excited to play with all these technologies. And now we have to ship 2,600 pounds back to Fort Lauderdale. Woo! What do you think about that? Wow. I'm not even looking forward to that one. I'm going to hit a spa tomorrow. So,
don't you guys think Ryan's done a brilliant job with the studio here at NAB Show Live?
Awesome.
It was worth the 2,600 pounds.
Well, thank you. You know, there's just a couple things I want to talk about. And I have to say, number one, thank you so much, Michelle Kelly, for letting us do this show. And we interviewed Chuck Lorre. Who else? Bob Woodruff. I spoke with, gosh, who else did I speak? Oh, yeah. How am I going to forget that? I spoke with Oscar De La Hoya yesterday. That was an amazing segment. But the NAB family, our family, is just, I've been with them for about 5 years. It's just been amazing. So I kind of feel very connected to the show. So thank you. Jamie, just talk a little bit about, this is literally just talking about toys we've seen at the show. So.
Let's see.
Or cool experiences you've had this week.
I would say some of the cool experiences I had because, you know, we are working. We didn't, as Jeff was saying, we didn't get to roam as much. But what was amazing hosting and asking questions was I got to learn a lot about things. So a lot of people, of course, as we know, are making the transition easy to an IP-based space. And that was great from storage, which is something you said you like, from storage to how we're able to reach things, security, tools that we can use that were just easy and on the go. They're just making a lot. The main thing that people said, and that was pretty much the through line of all of these interviews, was efficiency. Yep. So everybody's really had their eye on being efficient and making it easy for their customers to create. So I love that, and I would say that's like the main thing that I learned, especially, you know, and a bunch of little things about each little individual product. Yeah.
Awesome. You know, so then there's one thing that we forgot to even talk about is actually the people that come to NAB. So believe it or not, I think I've been coming to NAB for about 6 years now. And to me, it's all about the people too. I mean, more than anything. Right. When I came here, I just absolutely fell in love with the show. It's a great place to network, to make friends. And the people that come here are so dang smart, and they come from all walks of life, from all over the world. It's just really cool to see how you know you can meet with these people and then and integrate with them in the future, even remotely, because everything's on the internet now. Yeah. So it's just really cool. But we spoke with our friends at SMPTE. I'd like to congratulate them on 100 years. Yeah. Wow. That's amazing, and we're going to be there in Los Angeles for that event, and I think it's in October. So Nikki, where are you staying at? Just curious.
Planet Hollywood.
Planet Hollywood. Okay, yes. That matches you, Hollywood. So you're taking the monorail. You heard our commercial.
Yeah. Oh yeah, the commercial. Did a commercial up there?
Exactly. We've got radio spots played on the monorail.
Yeah, I'm actually at this. I think four stops away, so I heard it quite a bit.
Okay, cool. Very cool.
It was amazing.
All right, so Larry, talk about cameras that you saw. More stuff.
Well, there was a lot. There was a lot. I saw some things at the Canon booth. I spent a lot of time in the dark area of the Sony booth, and the thing that's interesting to me is the emphasis on HDR. I'm interested to see how HDR shakes out because there are a number of competing technologies, so it's going to be interesting. And I think that's the same thing with everything. It's VR, it's the HDR. There are a number of technologies, the IP technologies, but one of the things that I think was really kind of at the top of the important message that came through is that so many of these companies realize I can't own my market. I've got to play nice in the pond. And so you see a lot of these open workflows where companies, whether they're hardware or software manufacturers or solutions providers at any level, are trying to provide solutions that work and dovetail with other people, and also gracefully bring in old technologies so that they can phase those out and bring in the new. And so as we're moving to IP for broadcast, you see a lot, you don't see isolated lockdown solutions. And I think it goes back to what you were talking about, the people here, and the companies recognize they have to play with other players to get traction in the market. If you come up with an isolated lockdown solution, people will walk by your booth and go, oh, that's nice, you're not going to be here next year.
Yeah.
And, and the people that are sharing, that are open platforms, they're the ones that are making progress.
All right. All right, so just because we're limited on time, we're going to come back to Jamie in just a second, talk about a really cool thing you did at TVU yesterday, a remote that you did. It was just kind of fun, and we used I'm sorry, not at TVU, at the Killer Tracks booth.
Killer Track, yeah.
But in the meantime, for just a second, who wants more free stuff?
Yeah, let's go. Come on down.
Free stuff, guys. Don't head to the airport. Get free stuff from me right now.
Don't be scared.
All right. Special thank you to Isotope for all this good stuff. It's a plug and pack, the 4 essential tools for audio repair. It certainly has value.
Oh,
it's amazing.
Ryan,
Yes.
dude, I need that.
Me.
All right. Thank you, guys. Are you guys going to be back to NAB next year? Of course you are. Thank you so much. All right, Jamie, talk about the Killer Tracks booth interview that you were at yesterday.
Okay, so that was a lot of fun. If you guys were here and were able to see that, I really appreciate it. I want to say thank you to my team because there were so many of us just in place, making sure everything was working. TVU was amazing. I had Paul Shen on my show on Monday, and he sent texts out to rock with us. We used the TVU backpacks. Killer Tracks, they were absolutely amazing and excited. Luke McMaster is a wonderful star. So they had this circular sound booth, and you know, it was only natural that I found my way to just kind of sit right in there and do the interviews. It was amazing, and they had so much to offer when it comes to music, and so I had the little piece in my ear, and we're all looking, we're getting in place, everybody's in line, they're ready to know what they're saying, and you know, as soon as I got sound, I heard everybody clapping here, and it was just so fun because I'm like, I think they said I'm live, and I think the camera was like on my feet or something like that. And I'm like, no, we're ready. Okay, so we're here with Luke McMaster, and it was just great. It was a lot of fun.
Isn't it cool how the remote technology has evolved over the so many years, the last, even 5 years?
Yeah,
so,
it's amazing.
And that device uses like 6 cellular cards. So it's got 6 cellular, excuse my coughing again. There's like 6 cellular cards in the backpack.
In a backpack.
And it bonds and aggregates the bandwidth, and you can go anywhere, including the convention center, with thousands of signals. I was over at Accelerated Media Technologies, visiting with my friend Steve DeFala. It has literally become tradition that every show that Steve is at and Accelerated Media Technologies is at, I just go visit them because they have these cool trucks. Basically, they have the rights to get a Ford truck, for example, and just slice it and dice it up and put it back together, and by the time it's done, it's a production truck.
Right.
And it still keeps its warranty. They actually are that skilled at what they do that the manufacturers trust them. But it was cool, they have this wireless technology, and think about talkback in the television industry where you've got an IFB in my ear, but think about it with video and audio. They actually were doing that. They were bouncing a satellite off the top of the Renaissance Hotel over to bouncing it off of the wind, like the physical building, the signal, went off of the wind, bounced over to the top of the Westgate, and then they backhauled the signal wirelessly again over like a dish, and then went right back over to the truck, which is in between Central and South Hall. Is that crazy or what? And we were communicating two-way audio and video by doing that. It was just so cool. But anyway, Steve and those guys, they make weather trucks and whatnot. Yeah. Cool stuff. Janet, anything else you want to cover?
Well, I've been to some good parties.
Yes.
Very interesting parties.
Party animal.
I think also I've spoken to more CMOs, CTOs, and CEOs in 1 week than I do normally. But carrying on what Larry said, I think what I found was that they really are all talking about partnerships.
Yeah.
Because that is the way to go. And security was one of the big issues that came up on my sessions, and obviously they're looking at that because their customers want to protect their assets. So I think it was a lot of fun. We got some interesting conversations. We did one fantastic show on gender balance. So
that's awesome.
we tried to get you guys to start thinking, how can we encourage more women into this business? Because we're the minority. You know, we might actually like one day to have a queue to the ladies, because we see them to the guys, but there aren't that many women here. So
I wouldn't mind if more women were around.
Yeah, sounds good.
That'd be okay.
You'd like a few more women around. Would
Don't tell my wife,
them.
but that's okay.
Watching right. What?
Yeah, no, it's been a great show.
Yep, and Jeff, you know, you're a radio guy. I used to be a radio guy many, many years ago when I was like 18, 19, I was on the radio. But the technologies in radio, I mean, we were just talking the other day how, you know, you used to have dial-in technology, or you would dial like a Telos box, for example, like a phone hybrid system.
Right.
And now they have voice over IP doing that. It's crazy.
It's so advanced, and you really, I mean, there's so much here. You can't even get to every booth, because when you go to one other booth, you find out something else, and you get mad because you can't. You know, you're just like, I want it all, but you can't have it all. You know, so that's why I think my take on NAB this year was like, I'm just gonna take a low-key approach, because then I get all excited and I see something that I want, and then I go to the next booth and I see something, I go, I gotta have that too. And then by the time it's like, I've got this list that's you know, could go all the way to you know, all the way to the wall over there, and I can't make a decision because there's so much great product.
Wow. All right, so before I forget, I know we're out in 3 minutes or so. We're going to have continued coverage. So we have 39 crew members. That's right, 39 crew members.
We got to thank all those people. All the people behind the scenes.
Yeah, here.
Everybody.
I had the best team.
Yeah. So it's the largest crew in history, I think, for NAB Show Live. I've been a correspondent for about 5 years and was asked to become the executive producer this year and literally run it. And it is produced by Broadcast Beat in full this year. It's pretty cool.
That's very cool.
But 39 crews. We've had 5 film crews on the floor. We're talking full E&G crews, camera operators, audio operators, social media folks, multiple social media folks in some cases, and talent with all those crews. And then the control room itself, it's just been killer. All the people and all the how skilled everyone is. So I wanted to say thank you to you guys. And we're going to have to, in addition to the live broadcast of 36 hours that we've done, which we'll wrap up in about 2 minutes, you can still continue to see more videos. We shot over 200 videos here at NAB that weren't even put on the broadcast. So continued stuff at youtube.com/broadcastbeat. So that's youtube.com/broadcastbeat. You can follow us on Twitter at broadcastbeat. You can follow us on Instagram, where we probably posted over 1,000 photos, guys.
At least.
At broadcastbeat. So please follow us there. And of course, you can't miss anything. There's so much stuff on the NAB Show website itself, nabshow.com, and lastly, broadcastbeat.com. All right, so we've got how long, Phil? 1 minute. Very special thanks to you, Phil, as well, too, man. You've been awesome. And Liz. And Christina and Dale Kelly and everybody in the control room. You guys have. I don't have everybedy's name memorized, so I apologize, but
we should also thank all those people that watched NAB.show.com.
That's true.
And broadcastbeat.com watching us live.
So thank you so
We
much.
had lots of viewers.
All right, so with that said, guys, a very special thank you from the bottom of our hearts, and we'll see you at the 2017 NAB show.
Goodbye, everyone. Safe journey home.